Lower your heads. Take your minds to Karbala. As Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, he approaches the tents. He calls forward his Sakina. This is not a line of poetry. This is not something that I have thought of. The maqatil, the narrations, the reports say the exact words of Hussein to his daughter Sakina were, Sakina, do not burn your father's heart with your tears. Sakina, do not burn your father's heart with your tears. Once your father has left this world, then your right begins to grow, to cry as much as you want. Hussein is telling his Sakina, Sakina, understand this much. Hussein, he saw the loss of Abbas. Hussein, he watched Akbar's last breath escape his lips. Hussein, he picked up the pieces of Qasim's body. Hussein, he did everything on this day. But Sakina, don't let Hussein see your tears. He turns to his sister Zainab. He says, Zainab, will you bring me that old cloth that my mother used to sit in Medina sewing? Zainab brings this piece of clothing for Abu Abdullah. He takes that kurta from his sister. He begins ripping it into pieces, tearing holes into the kurta. Abu Abdullah was asked, why do you do this? He responds, after they kill me, they will surely come to take my possessions. I just wish that on that day of 11th of Muharram, they leave this little clothing on my body. So I must tear it so they don't take it. Hussein, he looks at his sister Zainab. Hussein looks at Zainab. You heard in the Masahib of Honor Muhammad how close this brother and sister were. You heard in the Masahib of Honor Muhammad that Zainab cannot live without her Hussein. You heard that day that Zainab has told her husband Abdullah, Abdullah, if Hussein leaves Zainab, then Zainab will not survive. Tell me, with what heart can Hussein come to Zainab and say, my sister Zainab, take your final look at your Hussein. Your brother is leaving, never to return. Hussein looks at Zainab, Zainab at Hussein, as the brother and sister cry over each other, holding each other in their arms. Hussein stops for a moment. He pulls Zainab away from him. He says to her, Zainab, my sister, will you do one thing for me? In this moment, Sayyidah Zainab, she says, tell me, what is it that you wish for me to do? Zainab asks her brother. Hussein replies, Zainab, at night when you stand to recite Salatul Layl, Zainab, don't forget your Hussein. Don't forget your brother. Zainab, after Hussein is killed, look after my Sakina. Zainab, from here on, look after my Sajjad. Zainab looks at Hussein. She says, my brother, there is something I must ask of you. Hussein says, tell me, Zainab, what can Hussein do for you? Zainab says, my brother, if you will you unbutton the kurta that you are wearing? Hussein opens the first buttons of his kurta. Zainab leans forward. She kisses the neck of Abu Abdullah. Hussein asks her, Zainab, what are you doing? She says, before our mother left this world, in that small room in Medina, My mother called me to her. She said, Zainab, wherever Hussein goes, make sure you go with him. Zainab, don't ever leave my Hussein alone. Whatever he needs, look after him. She then told me, my brother Hussein, she said to me, there will come a day where there will be a dagger on the neck of my Hussein. Before that day comes, Zainab, Zahra wishes for you to kiss the neck of Hussein. This is not the kiss of a sister to her brother. This is Zahra kissing the neck of Hussein in the land of Karbala. Hussein hears this. He turns to Zainab. He says, Zainab, there is a wasiyah, a will that I too must act upon. He says, Zainab, will you pull up your sleeves from your wrists? Zainab obliges. Hussein begins kissing the hands of his sister. Zainab asks, my brother, tell me, why do you kiss my hands so? Hussein says, Zainab, before my father Ali left this world, he told me there will come a day where the hands of Zainab will be tied in chains and shackles. Before that day comes, Hussein, from your father Ali, kiss the hands of Zainab. The Masa'ib are very long. I won't recite all of the Masa'ib, just a few moments there in Karbala that I wish to bring your attention to. Abu Abdullah, I can't tell you how, but he bids farewell to his Zainab. He then turns to say goodbye to his son Zainul Abidin, Ali ibn al-Hussein, Sayyid al-Sajidin. He turns, Sayyidah Zainab, she ushers over to our fourth Imam. She tells him, Sajjad, Sajjad, wake up. Sajjad, your father wishes to bid farewell. Hussein approaches Sajjad. I have heard it said, I didn't read it in the Maqatil, but I have heard it narrated that as Sayyid al-Sajjad awoke from his consciousness, Mawla Hussein was stood in front of him. Zainab said to him, Sajjad, your father wishes to bid farewell to you. In this moment I have heard it said, Sajjad responds to his auntie Zainab, my auntie Zainab, take me to my father. Where is he? Let me go to him. Zainab looks at Sajjad. She says, Sajjad, the man standing in front of you is your Hussein. Sajjad responds, my uncle, my father Hussein, what has happened? The last I saw you, your back was not bent over. The last I saw you, you had light in your eyes. There was no blood on your face. My father, what happened? Hussein looks at his Sajjad. He says, Sajjad, the time has come. Hussein must give his life. Sayyid al-Sajjad, he says to his auntie Zainab, my auntie, will you help me stand up from where I am sat? Sayyidah Zainab helps Sajjad stand up. He begins walking, I say walking. Sayyid al-Sajjad, very frail in this moment from his illness, he tries to get himself over towards one corner of the tent. Mawla Hussein, he watches as Sajjad goes over to that place where all of his luggage and things had been kept. Mawla Sajjad, he seems to be looking for something. All the while, Hussein and Zainab watch in perfect silence until the moment where Sajjad stands up. He turns around. He draws a sword from his luggage. He turns and he begins to walk towards the entrance of the tent. Now Hussein will not stay silent. He asks Sajjad, where are you going? Sajjad says, my father, how can it be that you go to give your life and Sajjad stays here? Hussein says, Sajjad, no. Sajjad, your jihad is much greater. Mawla Sajjad, he asked my father, if I cannot go to give my life, then where is my uncle Abbas? Hussein says, Qad Qatil, Abbas has been killed. Where is my Qasim? Qad qutil. My brother's own and Muhammad qad qutil. Where is Habib? Qad qutil. John qad qutil. Hur qad qutil. Mawla Hussain, one by one, Sayyidul Sajjad asks him, one by one, Hussain says qad qutil. We are told that Mawla Sajjad, he asked about almost every one of the Shahada. There are only two he did not ask about in that moment. Why? Because as Sajjad was getting to the end of the list of the Shahada, Zainab was watching the color drain from Hussein's face. Zainab knew, and so did Hussein. It is only a matter of time now before Sajjad asks his father, Aina Ali Akbar. Before Sajjad can say the name, Zainab steps forward. Hussein sees what is happening to Zainab. He says, Sajjad, understand this much. Out of all of the men, either you are alive or Hussein is alive. I said there were two Shuhada that Sayyidul Sajjad did not ask about. One was Ali Akbar, the other one was that Shaheed who Sajjad would not even have thought to ask about. I looked in the Maqatil, I looked throughout the history books. I could not find anywhere from this moment where Sayyidul Sajjad wakes up from his unconsciousness till the 11th of Muharram, when the armies of Yazid ride around the tents of Hussein, digging their spears into the ground. I could not find any moment where anybody told Sajjad, Sajjad, while you were unconscious in that tent, do you know they even killed your Asra? Sajjad never asked. Nobody told him. I'll bring the Masa'ib to a close with one final moment. Aba Abdullah, he goes out towards the battlefield. It is said he stood in the middle of the battlefield at one point, looking constantly to his left, looking constantly to his right. When it was asked, why did Aba Abdullah keep doing this? Why did he keep looking towards his left shoulder and his right shoulder? The answer came, it was only a few hours ago. If he looked to his left, he would have seen his Akbar. When he looks to his right, he sees Abbas. Now, when Hussein looks to the left, he sees the armies of Yazid. When he looks to the right, he sees the armies of Yazid. He looks in front of him, the arrows and the lances, the swords and the spears raised in the sky, ready for the head of Hussein. Abu Abdullah charges at the enemy. He charges at the armies of Yazid until the point where inside the tents of Mawla Hussain, Sayyida Zainab hears a call, she hears a cry, she hears the call from the skies. Hussein has been killed in Karbala. She hears the calls that Hussein has been slain in this land. Zainab rushes over to the fourth Imam. She says, Sajjad, Sajjad, I have been instructed by my brother while he is alive. Zainab is not to leave the tents. Sajjad, go and look. Look at what they are saying. See what is happening. Sayyidul Sajjad, he goes to the entrance of the tents. He looks up towards the skies. He turns to his auntie Zainab in a broken voice. Sajjad, with all the energy he can, with all the heart he has left in him, he whispers to his auntie Zainab, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Zainab looks at him, she says, Sajjad, Sajjad, why do you look towards the skies? My Hussein is in the battlefield, surrounded by the enemy, somewhere on the ground. Sajjad, why did you look to the sky when I asked you to find my Hussein? Sayyid Sajjad turns to his auntie Zainab. He says, my auntie Zainab, look to the skies for yourself. The head of Hussein raised upon the spears in Karbala. ألا لعنة الله على قوم الظالمين. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون